Alrighty, welcome back to another episode of the Team Member Perspective Podcast Show. I'm your host Colter, and very excited about today's guest. We have Makayla Stott, a team member here in Utah. I've had the pleasure of getting to know Makayla a little bit over the last few months, and she has a very powerful story that I'm excited for her to share with us today. And I know that this story is going to help each of us remember what we do is important, and remember that, our customers need us to have conversations with them. And, we're dealing with negative self-talk. There's a lot of things that prevent us from having conversations with our customers. But my hope today is that those of you listening will take something from this, apply it to what you do, and get out of your head and into conversations with your customers, because what we do is very important. So, Makayla, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to share with us today. I am very excited. I'm honored to have you on the podcast.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So, Makayla, let's start out. How long have you been a team member in the multi-line insurance industry space?
I have been a team member since September of 2020, so just shy of 3 years.
Just shy of 3 years. Okay. And what is your role within your agency?
I have a hybrid role, so I do both service and sales. And I personally really like it. I think there's a lot of sales that come with the service side of it.
Oh my goodness, guys, you heard it from Makayla, right? I think that's a big thing, and I love that you brought that up right away, Makayla, because I think sometimes as team members, right, number one, there's a lot that requires our time and attention. We've got, a current book of customers that we're servicing, right? And with that comes service, right? We've got to help people make their payments. They might be a little frustrated with their bills. So we've got to explain that, help them file claims, change and update their policies. So we're doing all of that, but we're also trying to sell, right? We have our sales goals for the year. And so I love that you bring that up, right? Because a lot of team members will separate the two and say it's service or it's sales. They never really mix the two, but what you're saying is there's a lot of opportunities within the service, and I couldn't have said it better myself. There are so many opportunities. I truly feel, you can tell me what you think here, Makayla, but I feel like the service gives us so many opportunities. I feel like there is a gold mine in the service full of opportunity. Would you agree?
Oh, for sure. I think so. I think, there's so many different sales opportunities anytime you pick up the phone, whether it's adding a vehicle, rewriting a renter's policy, adding somebody to the household, anything along those lines. There's always an opportunity to pivot to something else, whether that's life insurance, short-term disability, long-term disability, whatever that is. I think there's always an opportunity for it.
I absolutely love that. And guys, develop that mindset, right? Get in the mindset that there is opportunity within service, because there truly, truly is. And if we think about it, I talk about this a lot, but if we are salespeople and we're trying to hit our goals, we're making a lot of outbound phone calls, right? We're dialing, we're trying to get people to listen to us, to talk with us. But what we don't sometimes think about is when we're making outbound calls, let's say that I'm calling you, Makayla. I don't know what's going on in your day. I don't know, if you're busy with your family. I don't know if you're, rushing and you're having whatever it is, right? I don't know what's going on, and I don't know what I'm interrupting in your day, so I don't really know how you're thinking, how you're feeling. And so that's a challenge, right? I feel like a lot of the times us team members, we want to sell, and so we call. We don't ever talk to our current customers that are calling us, right? And so our customers that we're servicing, right? If they're calling or they're coming into the office, guess what? They've taken time out of their day to come and talk with you. So we know that they're going to listen because they've set aside that time. And we don't have to worry about overcoming that hurdle of, you know what? I know you're busy, and helping to get people to actually listen to us. So much opportunity within service. I absolutely love that you touched on that, Makayla. So hybrid role, you're doing service and sales, and I think a lot of that There's a lot of things to learn as far as managing our time, prioritizing what's important, and just staying balanced. And so that's great. Thank you. So, Makayla, I know, the reason I wanted to have you on this podcast is because you've seen some recent success with your role in the agency as a hybrid service sales team member. But you also shared a personal story with our group, and it was very powerful. And I wanted to, I reached out, and you were so willing to share this story with us. And so I'm grateful for that, Makayla. But yeah, if you would talk to us about your personal story around life insurance and how that has shaped you as a team member.
Yeah, so back in 2020, my sister, she was 16, new youthful driver, and she took her own life in a car accident. She drove her vehicle into a river actually, and it was super hard for our family at the time. Obviously, we were grieving, but during that grieving process, I just really realized how important life insurance is for my own family as well as other people. Um, Basically, I was very, very new in the industry at that time. So I didn't really know a whole lot about it. And as I got licensed and continued to learn more and more about it, I feel like this just shaped me so much as a team member and as a person. First, I want to preface it by saying we never know what people are going through. And being a hybrid role here in the agency, I deal a lot with people that have a lot of service questions, and obviously that comes with a lot of sales opportunities. So, with the service, this experience, I just try to be kind to everybody. I'm a very friendly person. Sometimes it has backfired in my situation when I'm overly positive and overly nice with people calling about billing questions or, why their premium increased, things like that. I just really try to be positive because they're frustrated with it, obviously, and I just am trying to explain it to them as well as be positive. So, but along with that, I feel like my situation with this just really makes me want to ask and pivot to people about life insurance all the time. One thing that stuck with me and has really just helped me with my life insurance sales in the past, I would say like year and a half, is my parents always say that they wish that they knew that they could have life insurance on their children. Obviously, us who are in our profession and career know that you can. And so I think it's huge. Whenever I add a youthful driver, I am asking those parents about, adding a small life insurance policy on their youthful driver because unfortunately we just never know what's going to happen. Whether, my sister's situation, she took her own life and we weren't aware that she was struggling like that. Or a freak accident, whether that's a car accident, anything along those lines. I think us as humans, we don't think we're going to pass away prematurely, but then when it happens, we wish that there were things in place. And so I really just try to pivot to most people that I talk to on a daily basis. And I feel like when I share the story, sometimes it can be hard. And it took me a while to continually share this story with people because it's something that's very vulnerable and I wasn't comfortable talking with for a long time or about for a long time. And I think it has been an eye opener, especially for parents with youthful drivers, just protecting them. And now I tell people all the time, especially my friends that are just now having children, I'm like, you guys should totally get life insurance on your children because we never know what happens. Doesn't matter if they're driving, if they're 1, 2, 3, however old they are, and it's just locking in that insurability. So I think it's just changed my view on life insurance and it's done wonders for my sales. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Makayla. I cannot even imagine going through that and what you and your family had to go through. That hole will always be there, right, in your life. And, would a life insurance policy, would that have fixed everything and made sure that there was no hole? Absolutely not, right? We're
Yeah.
it's not going to fill in that void that's going to be there, right? But it certainly will help, right? And you know and I love how you talk about how that shaped the way that you're talking to your customers. And I think as team members, we have all of this negative self-talk of, man, they just want the car insurance. They don't want the life insurance, right? Or, man, that seems so expensive, right? We're selling out of our own pockets. Or, man, I'm just not confident. I don't know how to talk to my customers about this. Whatever it is, everyone's dealing with some sort of negative self-talk. But let this story, guys, let this help you get through that negative self-talk and into a conversation with your customer, right? Talk to them, educate them. You're hearing it from Makayla. Her parents wish they would have known that they could have had a life insurance policy, right, for their kids. That's a big deal. But sometimes I think we sometimes convince ourselves that, oh, they don't want that. We don't know, right? Some people might not want it, but a lot of people probably do. And so let this story motivate you. Let this give you what you need to push through that negative self talk and just have a conversation. Um, but Makayla, thank you for sharing that. I know that's personal. I know that's a hard part of life to kind of go back to. But I think it's also helped me realize how limited our time is, and we never know, right? And so, aside from insurance, right, life is precious, and I think this is one of those experiences that really helps me, be grateful for what I have and be grateful for my family and for everything that is happening in my life. And I think gratitude is a big deal and allows us to get to that next level in the at the agency, or get to that next level in life and truly feel happy and present in the moment. When I hear these stories, it makes me sick, right? But also, I'm grateful for them, and I'm grateful that you shared that, Makayla, because it really helps me come back down to the present and realize, look, our time is so limited, and to be very grateful for what I do have and just enjoy life and enjoy being with my family and those things that we sometimes take advantage of. So aside from, as team members or as agents, I truly feel it's our moral obligation to have these conversations with our customers, right? Now, whether they decide to do it or not, that's out of our control. We need to stop worrying about that. But instead, we just need to say, you know what? It's my job. I'm licensed by the state where I work. And so I'm trusted to have these conversations with my customers. Whether they decide to do it, that's a whole different thing, right? But allow this story to help you push through that negative self talk. Just have conversations with your customers. So thank you so much, Makayla. I personally have an experience of the importance of life insurance for young drivers as well. I was about 2 years into working in the agency, so I was fairly new to insurance and I wasn't writing a lot of life insurance at this time. And basically, I was in the agency. I answered a phone call from a father of a kid that I had grown up with, from kindergarten all the way to graduating high school. His name was Branton, and Branton and I knew of him, and we were acquaintances. And anyways, I'd grown up with him. I'd gone to school with this guy my whole life, and I'm sitting in the agency, answer this phone call from Branton's dad, and I could tell something was up. And he proceeded to tell me that Branton had just passed away in a car accident. And his purpose for that call was to let us know, but also he wanted to see if he had any coverage on his car insurance policy, any coverage on his homeowners to pay for these expenses. And so, you know, that was a hard call to deal with. It was very personal for me because I knew him, and it just makes you think. It just makes you sick. And to make it even worse, I remember him, I could just feel the worry in his voice. And just, he was devastated, as any father would be, right? Um, but I remember he was asking, like, is there any coverage on my homeowners? Is there any coverage on my car insurance to cover these expenses? And I remember I was looking, I was digging. I didn't see a life insurance policy for him, right? So then my next thing is like, did we have a conversation? I want to know if we had a conversation with him. Because if we did, then I know we at least did our job. And at the time our office wasn't great at taking notes. I didn't see any opportunities. I don't know if we did. And so I had to tell the dad that there was nothing in place. And that hurt. That call absolutely hurt. And I remember that affected me. And for a while it kind of, I was down on myself. I was a little bit mad that I didn't do my job and didn't have a conversation. But what it also did, guys, is it really shaped the way that I started to think about what we do. And what we do is so important. It gave me the push that I needed to start having conversations. Because look, talking about life insurance is a little taboo for most people. We're talking about death. No one wants to die. No one's ready to die. It's a very hard conversation to have, and I get it, right? Especially with parents that are just adding their young drivers, right? They're already nervous. Can't imagine when, my 3-year old gets behind the wheel. I can't imagine how I'm going to think and feel then, right? And so let these stories motivate you, right? What we do is so important. And our customers just do not know what they do not know. Now, whatever they decide to do, if they decide to laugh at you and say, there's no way I'm doing that, that's okay. Be okay with the fact that you had the conversation because it's your job. It's our moral obligation to do that. So, Makayla, thank you so much. That is so powerful, and it truly it helps me get out of my head and just understand that what we do is so important. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Of course.
Next thing is, what is one thing that you are doing now? Because, like I said at the beginning, you've had some recent success. You've reached out to me and said, hey, this is what I've been doing. And the coolest thing in the world, which props to you, Makayla, because you're doing it, right? You're having conversation. Yes, there's stuff that's proven to work that we talk about in the team member perspective group. And team members are crushing it, getting really great results. So the stuff works, right? But kudos to you for actually implementing it, for taking action and having conversations with your customers, okay? So with your recent success in selling life insurance, Makayla, what is one thing that you're doing now that you weren't doing that has helped you sell more life insurance?
I feel like it's pivoting and being intentional with my pivots. I personally haven't always been the best at pivoting, especially when taking service phone calls. Um, but finding those opportunities and being very intentional with them. For example, when I'm adding a vehicle, I am asking them if they have a loan on their vehicle, and if they do, how much that loan is for and what their monthly car payment is. That way we can make sure that I can quote them a total package, a total protection package, as well as always offering them, especially people who only have, single line autos, offering them when they call in to either do a vehicle change or add a vehicle, always offering them an additional policy. And usually I feel like a lot of our single line auto customers, they personally, we've talked to them about homeowners insurance or renters insurance, and they're just not interested. But we still want to be able to give them that multi-line discount, and so a lot of times that's when I'll go in and I'll pivot about life insurance, whether that's just getting them, a starter policy that they can continue to have throughout their life, whether it's 10, 20, 30-year terms or whole life insurance, and then as well as giving them that additional discount on their auto insurance. So I feel like that's huge. Just pivoting and being very intentional with my pivots to make sure that it is benefiting our customers.
Oh my goodness. That is incredible. I absolutely love that. And it's something that I feel like I've been doing and it makes total sense to me, right? But I think sometimes as team members, we know we need to pivot. It's ingrained in us, right? It's like in the back of our mind, we can hear our agent or our leader saying, pivot, 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 right? And we focus a lot on pivoting, but I think we don't really talk and focus enough on intentional pivots, right? And being strategic with our pivots. And I love, absolutely love that you say, hey, just offer it to them, right? And you've gotten really good at recognizing opportunities, at recognizing places where you can bring in the life insurance in a very natural way, right? And so if people have loans on vehicles and we're known as a P&C business, right? Auto and home insurance, but they don't really think about life insurance when they associate it with us. Let's talk to them. They're calling us about the car. Let's talk to them about a life insurance policy to pay off that loan, right? Because then it's going to open the door for us to help protect that risk, but also open the door for a bigger life insurance conversation, which I think is so cool, right? And you mentioned another thing that I think is so important, that in the multi-line space, we can sell auto insurance, home insurance, renter's insurance, umbrella insurance, life insurance, health insurance, right? We can sell these different products, and a lot of companies will incentivize with discounts to do that. And so a lot of times it makes a lot of sense for people because they can save money but also get some some additional coverage that can fill a gap in their future. So absolutely love that. The opportunity within the multi-line space is second to none. I think it's incredible. There's many ways to make money as a team member, but also many ways that we can help protect our customers from these financial risks that they face in the future. And oftentimes, people don't even know that we can help them with those things. So just simply bringing it up, simply talking to them about it, a lot of the times is all people need. And they're like, whoa, I didn't even know you did that. Yeah, let's do that. Right? So I love that. Thanks, Makayla. That's great. Okay, so intentional pivoting. That's that's incredible. Um, Next question I have for you is you've been involved in the team member perspective training and accountability group. We meet every single Friday. We do some sort of training centered around financial services. We've got an online library full of sales processes that team members across the country are using to get results. They're simple, they're repeatable, they're effective. And so, talk to us about the team member perspective. And what is it that you like about the team member perspective, Makayla?
I think the biggest thing that I like about this program is just how supportive everybody is. It's an awesome accountability group. I love getting together every Friday morning, whether it's for an hour, a little bit longer than an hour, and just hearing from other people all over the nation who are doing the same thing that I'm doing. I'm learning from them. I'm learning their processes, what's working for them, and just being able to try it out on my own and implement that in my own sales process, I think has been awesome. I love, like I said, I love how supportive everybody is. I feel like every week we listen to a new person who's just doing amazing in life insurance and the health insurance world, and I think it's awesome because everybody's always hyping them up in the chat, and we're super excited to learn from them. And the best thing of it all is these processes actually work. If you put it into play, you'll find success. So that's what I love, and I think it's awesome.
Appreciate that, Michaela. That's so great. And I love, I'm the same. I love the support, right? It's fun to be around people that are doing exactly what we do. And for me, I learn the best by learning from those people that are doing what I do every single day and learning how they're doing it, right? We can take bits and pieces from different team members across the nation that are crushing it, make it our own, and that'll elevate us. That'll get us to that next level. And we're meeting every single Friday, and so the accountability is there, right? We're talking about the life insurance products. We're talking about the supplemental health that we can do. And we're, as a group, figuring out how we can get to that next level together, which I think is incredible. Like you're saying, they work, right? If it's working for someone, on the East Coast, why wouldn't it work for us too? And that's what we've found, which I think is so great. So I appreciate that, Michaela. And then the last question to wrap this up is, what advice would you give to brand new to selling insurance, Michaela?
I think the best advice I could give myself when I started 3 years ago was to have more meaningful conversations. I notice that when I really get to know my customers and I ask them, what they're doing this weekend, what they do for work, and just building that rapport with them, they trust me. And that feels really good. And it allows me to offer them things that I feel that they need, and they trust me, and most of the time they move forward with it. And it's just because I've had these meaningful conversations with them. They like me, I like them, and we've built a really good connection. So I love our insureds. They're awesome. So yeah.
So cool. That's great, guys. Take that from Makayla. Have more meaningful conversations with your customers. And I think a simple way to do that is to just talk to your customers about the risks they face. Just educate them, right? Tell them that we can help them with those risks and follow it up with benefits. Like, look, this is what's in it for you, Makayla, if you did do this, right? Here are the benefits that you would receive. You could avoid this type of financial pain in the future, but also you can have this peace of mind to know, like, look, your family's going to be taken care of, or whatever those benefits are for the customer. That is so incredible, right? And I love that question because I think, we've got a lot of new team members probably listening to this that are probably a little stressed out trying to learn insurance. I feel like insurance is complex, it's a whole new language. They're trying to learn the systems and navigate those, let alone try to sell this thing, right? So it can be overwhelming, but I think all that comes with experience. And I wish I would have had team members that would have helped me kind of learn those things quicker and get into more meaningful conversations with customers. And instead of just sitting in my head with all this negative self talk and limiting beliefs that I can't do it because I don't know how to do it, I don't know how to run these systems, all those things that make things overwhelming for us. I love that advice, right? Have more meaningful conversation with your customers. So good. Well, Makayla, thank you again. This has been so great. Thank you for sharing your personal story. I know that's hard to do, but it's had an impact on me. I feel like I'm ready to go out and have conversations, knowing, we're going to have limiting beliefs, we're going to have this negative self talk, but with this story, I'll always be reminded how important what we do is. And thank you so much for sharing that and taking time out of your day to share with us. This has been incredible. I'm excited to see what you can do this year. I think this is just the beginning, and we're going to absolutely crush it this year. And I'm excited to see how you do. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Team Member Perspective. On this show, we try to bring as much content that we can to help inspire us to have more conversations, get out of our own heads and into conversations with our customers so we can write more policies, make those policies worth more, all while having a bigger impact on those around us. So, Makayla, thank you so much. We will see you guys in the next episode.